Welcome on in, race fans, to tonight's event here in the Trinity Racing League. It is a brand new season, and with quite a few brand new faces, including myself, Arie, and my co-host, Tom Richter, up here in the booth, getting ready to call the very first race of the season, the Clash here in EchoPark. How's it going, Tom?
Good evening, Arie, and good evening, race fans, and welcome to a Monday night racing from EchoPark Speedway. It is going good as these drivers get out here for a little preseason race at EchoPark Speedway out here tonight. 75 laps from this mile-and-a-half super speedway. Some bonus points on the line to the race winner out here tonight to set their season off in the right direction. And we're going to see who takes the first checkered flag of the season out here this evening. Arie, we come to EchoPark Speedway, and you know, you kind of roll a 40-sided die, and you're not really sure who's going to win. But at the end of the night, only one driver will emerge victorious, and that kind of sets the season up in the right direction.
That it does, and it is anybody's game when we go drafting. Anybody except maybe the 16 of Josh Kanata, who was joking with me earlier and said it won't be him who wins tonight. So I guess we can at least cross one name off the list and look at the rest of the field. And I tell you what, Tom, I'm excited to get to see a bunch of new drivers that I've never seen before on track. See how they race, see how they compete, and see what we get out of the Trinity Racing League.
Absolutely, Arie, and it's drivers. It's not even just new drivers to us, right? There's a lot of new drivers that registered for the Trinity Racing League over the course of the off season. They just finished up their first season back in like October or so with Vincent Sora taking home the championship at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Jared Talmadge coming back in second. So a lot of these drivers are getting familiar with each other on this very tight racing surface out here this evening as we follow one of last season's drivers along out here right now. Josh Stovall on track right now, currently runs 5th in practice as they run with just checkered flags out in practice.
There we go. Perfect timing as we get ready to roll over into qualifying and see which of these drivers has got it figured out the best. Gonna go down and lay the hot laps down, and from what I've heard from the drivers so far throughout practice, Tom, is these cars are not very happy tonight on this surface. They start to get pretty squirrely, and you're going to have to play with the throttle just a little bit as the tires wear out, and not to mention you're going to have the entire pack worth of a draft, so something like track position I think is going to come into play big time.
Yeah, and that's really kind of the big difference, right, between a super speedway like Daytona, Talladega, where tires don't really matter a whole lot there. When you come to Atlanta Motor Speedway or the newly renamed EchoPark Speedway, tires matter a whole lot more here than they do at the other two counterparts. First driver that we see out on track right now is that Ford Mustang of Ben Kinney, that number 51, as he gets up to speed, and we're going to have to see how drivers are able to manage the tires, but not even just the tires, Arie. This track is a whole lot more narrow than Daytona, Talladega. Drivers don't have the luxury of going 3 and maybe even 4 wide at times here.
They don't, and I mean, you can fit 3 wide, but it's usually not going to go too well, especially through the tri-oval section right here. So you see the 51 car take a very wide arcing line around the track right now, trying to build up as much speed as he can in the 51. This first lap isn't going to be the timed lap that he's going to be looking to make count. It's going to be the second one by, and that should be the case for most of these drivers out on track at the moment. As we watch the 51 come through 3 and 4, we've got a handful of other drivers on track. We've got Kanata, Justin Smith, we've got Cox, Labertone, Miller, and others. But across the line for the first time, let's see where the 51 goes.
As the first times come across the board, Ben Kinney going to hold the top of the speed charts right now. We've got multiple drivers out on a hot track this evening as more cars come across. Mark Labertone going to go to the top of the board. Josh Kanata slots into second place in that Toyota Supra as Justin Smith comes in 4th.
Through turns 3 and 4 for the final time on the second lap for the 51 of Kinney off of the corner and to the line. We'll see where the 51 throws that Ford Mustang across the line, and it's P1 provisionally as we jump over to driver 6. It's Justin Smith.
A very bright red number 6 in that Chevrolet Camaro comes out of turn number 4 to complete lap number 2, going to cut the apron down on the front stretch, and that is something that race control has confirmed to set the scene for tonight, Arie. Drivers are permitted to use anywhere on the track as long as they're coming back up on the track safely. Race control has confirmed that you go down there, you're welcome to, but you got to make a clean re-entry.
That you do, and tonight, numberless on the side of the car, it's the 99 of Mike Miller coming across the line for the second time. He's going to jump up to P5 on the board, provisionally on pole at the moment. It's the 16 of Josh Kanata. Stephen Clapp's going to jump up to the front row as we watch Malik Kuntz off of turn 4 and to the line now for driver 77. Let's see where he gets that Toyota Supra. It's going to be P8 as Clint Cox jumps up to the front row.
2 laps done and away for the 77. New top of the board is Noah Steele in that number 8 Chevy Camaro. At the top, 2 laps for Noah. 1 driver just completing their laps right now, Samuel Garcia, coming across the start-finish line. 15th on his first lap. Going to jump up to a top 5 starting position.
Great run from Garcia. We'll jump over to the 17. It's Chris Stitz in that Camaro now, heading through turns 3 and 4. Good looking 17 car out there on track. Currently sits P18 on the board from the first lap, and now we're going to be getting that ever important second lap on the board. Cut the entire apron. This one should be pretty good at the line. It's going to be P5 for the 17.
Cody Reed's going to be coming out turn number 4 in the 25 Supra, and this is to complete his second lap as well, and we're going to see something very similar as we have seen from the drivers previous. Going to go to the top of the board for Cody Reed, new provisional pole sitter with less than a minute to go in qualifying.
Made it count at the right time, was top of the board in practice as well. Looking to sweep the first 2 sessions of the night as we watch Ryan Kelly, driver of the 30, make his way off of turn number 4 and to the line. Let's see where that 30 car goes. P4 on the board with that effort. And there is 1 driver remaining on track.
Last car on an active track right now is the number 18 of Graham Walker. And looks like he's going to be beginning his first lap out here. Only 20 seconds remain in qualifying, so don't believe he's going to be able to post a time. And that is going to be our starting grid out here in about 10 seconds, Arie. We've got a field of 24 drivers out here tonight to take the green flag.
That we do. It's a pretty full field for a duel, a race that's not going to pay out very many points at all, unless you're the race winner, of course. So with that done and away, we've got our grid, and these drivers are going to be given a brief warm-up period right here for about 5 minutes or so before we officially grid up and begin this race.
Drivers make their final race preps for tonight's event as we get set to kick over to our race session out here tonight. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Monday night. Welcome on out to the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network. We are going to be here every single Monday night with the Trinity Racing League with Arie and myself up in the booth, and we are looking forward to calling some Xfinity action all season long from now until the championship race. Let's see if we can't grab our pole sitter. Let's see if we can't find Mr. Cody Reed. All right, we've been able to make our way over to the 25 pit stall. Cody Reed, Tom, and Arie down here in the booth. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, we're doing okay. So you got a good starting spot out here, probably the best one in the house. What's your strategy for these next 75 laps?
I really have no clue. I have not really raced at Atlanta after they've kind of made some changes. I used to be pretty good here, and then now the cars are kind of tight and loose all the time, constantly, and never really where you want it. So I'm kind of nervous actually being out front because there's a good chance that I just lose it on like lap 2. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But yeah, I mean I'm pretty good at qualifying at like these drafting tracks for some reason. That's kind of just like my thing. That was kind of my thing last season as well, and in our previous league that a lot of us guys were in. So I'm not too surprised to have qualified well, but I probably will not finish that well. So.
Well, you got 75 laps to settle the score, but you know you're coming back as one of the league veterans. Last season, you ran the entire season, had 2 top 10s. What's your goals for this season to make the chase, to make the playoffs, and maybe be in contention for the championship this season? What are your goals for this season?
I definitely want to be more of a threat. Put some more practice laps in. You know, maybe more top 10s. Definitely some top 5s. I'd like to win at least one race this season. That'd be really nice. It'd be nice to start out with a little 2-point boost tonight by winning this race. That'd be really cool. But yeah, I definitely want to try to compete for the championship. I know some of the guys who have been big threats in the past are kind of no longer with the league. So that kind of, I feel like, opens up some opportunities for, the guys that were kind of like 10th through 15th to contend a lot more. And I would say I'm kind of in that area of the pack, at least last season I was. So hopefully I'll have a better chance at, making it further and having a better shot at the championship this season.
Well, you got a great starting spot out here tonight, possibly get the first win in the Trinity Racing League. Looks like you got a little fan club going in our YouTube chat out there. Looks like Kenny Reed is wishing you good luck out there tonight. So Cody, I'm going to kick you back up to your channel. Which channel were you in here?
Should be. I don't even know if it's named. You can just throw me wherever. I can find my way back.
All right, you're going to be teammates with Gray Walker as warm-up winds down out here tonight. And Arie, a lot of drivers, going through the great unknown of the preseason race out here this evening.
Yeah, you could say that for sure. And I always love when it's the start of a brand new season and you get the mix of the veteran cast, the drivers who've been around, the drivers who know each other, and then you sprinkle in some of the new faces each season and some of the new challenges that go with that. Some drivers are motivated, having not accomplished what they wanted the season before. Maybe some drivers came up short. Maybe other drivers are looking to improve and continue getting better from what was maybe already a good season. So a lot of good storylines coming into this one. A lot of fun stuff to watch, and can't think of a much better place to do the preseason clash than right here in EchoPark.
Warm up rapidly ending out here tonight. Before we get to the starting lineup out here tonight, I want to give a shout out to the title sponsor of the Trinity Racing League. That's Larry Arts Production. It's a comedy variety YouTube channel with content ranging from stop motion videos, vlogs, live streams, more, you name it. Check out all the insanity Larry produces on YouTube at Larry Arts Productions. And with that said, Arie, the checkered flag is out over warm-up, and it's about time we get to the grid.
That it is. I'm excited. First time for us here on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network to be calling the Trinity Racing League. So glad to have joined these guys for this season. So glad to see what we've got in store. Give it just a second here for all these drivers to get loading over on pit road, and we will get our starting grid underway right about now. We've got on the pole, we know when we talked to him just now, heard a lot about what he's thinking for this season. It's driver the 25, Cody Reed, goes out there and lays down the hot lap ahead of Noah Steele, going to share the front row in P2. Third place, it's Josh Kanata ahead of Ryan Kelly in P4. We've got Clint Cox rounding out the top 5. Stephen Clapp in P6 ahead of Chris Stitz in 7th place. We've got Ollie Fonseca in 8th, Justin Campbell in 9th, and Samuel Garcia rounds out the top 10.
On the outside, the top 10 looking in, Josh Stovall's going to start 11th out here tonight next to Mark Labertone in that number 42 out here this evening. Thomas Walter is going to roll off 13th place with Chris Stamper in 14th. The top 15 is rounded out by Justin Smith. Nolan Hicks going to start 16th in tonight's 75-lap event, followed by Malik Kuntz, Mike Miller, Joshua Sawyer, and Ben Kinney in the top 20.
Just outside of the top 20, we've got Tyler Horn in 21st, ahead of Graham Walker in 22nd. Dakota Moniz will start us off in 23rd position, and rounding out the field of 24, it's going to be Sam Dyer in the 35.
Quick shout out to the grid sponsor and the Pole Sitter Award out here tonight. Going to be going out to the driver that we just spoke to, Cody Reed. That is Blazing Fast TV. Looking for a chill, relaxed stream. head on over to Blazing Fast TV on Twitch and YouTube. See live point of view races from Dakota Moniz as he races. Drop a follow and subscribe to stay up to date when he goes live and hits the track every single week. So Cody Reed taking home the first Blazing Fast TV Pole Sitter Award of the season.
All right. I tell you what, Tom, that pace car is getting ready to pull off a pit road, and I eagerly await to see not only some of the first action that we've seen here out of these guys, but to also see what kind of situation everyone's about to be thrown into. We've heard multiple drivers talk about the handling and the uncertainty here going into this one, so you gotta wonder, is everyone going to be taking it easy? Are we going to have some people trying to take advantage, maybe going for track position early on? You know, there's not really anything to lose in this race. All there is something to gain by winning, so you got to think to a degree it's going to be maybe a little more aggressive than it would be otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely, Arie. And you know, 75 laps around Atlanta is not a very long time. I mean, 75 laps can be done in about 40 minutes, give or take, if the race runs green without any incident yellows. The one thing that we did learn from race control is that the fuel run is only approximately about 60 to 65 laps. So that kind of puts the ball in the driver's court. Do you pit halfway, or do you run it all the way out to lap 60 or 65 to the bottom of the fuel tank and then pit and take as minimum fuel as possible?
Whatever you do, make sure that you remember you've got to enter pit road right there before you hit turn 3 on the backstretch and follow underneath that white line all the way around turns 3 and 4 before you get onto pit road. We've got some predictions from some of these drivers that we'll see at least one driver try and dive down out of turn 4 under yellow or so to make their pit stop. So we'll keep an eye out and we'll see. But we're getting ready to go. Lights are going to remain on the pace car by the looks of it, potentially extending.
The field of 24 going to take one additional pace lap out here, get everybody in the right spot, get those pre-race jitters out of the way. Out in our YouTube chat box, see some picks for the 25 Cody Reed. That's our pole sitter out here this evening. Looks like Josh Stovall's got a pick out there. Show us who you're rooting for out here this evening to take home the 2 bonus points that the winner's going to get here in the Trinity Racing League. Drop some names out there and let us know who to follow all race long, as the lights are now extinguished off the pace car.
That they are, as we get some views from throughout the field. These drivers are making their final pace lap before we get some green flag action underway here in this brand new season. It's an exciting time. It's very nerve-wracking when it's the very first event of the season, Tom. It's quite a bit different than any other time.
It is, and you know, you kind of heard Cody allude to it just a couple of minutes ago in his pre-race interview. A lot of these drivers, you know, a lot of the old drivers from last season aren't with the league this season, right? So a lot of new drivers getting familiar with each other, and this is a great shot right here. You can see just how narrow this track gets as they go down here into turn 3 for the last time under the yellow flag conditions for the pre-race pace laps out here. Next time we see them, they're going to be doing about 195 miles an hour entering into turn number 3.
All right, the anticipation is coming to an end. This pace car is diving off the track this time by. The field's going to be in the hands of Cody Reed in that Toyota Supra, alongside Noah Steele in that Chevy Camaro. The pace car is off. The green flag is ready, and for the first time this season, we are green in the Trinity Racing League.
Green flag is out, and everybody's up through the gearboxes. 4 gears strong. Cody Reed, Noah Steele, side by side, enter into down to turn number 1. Joshua Kanata, Ryan Kelly make up row number 2. The top 5 is rounded out by Clint Cox as they run right now. A little bit of separation, a little bit of advantage on the inside line. Cody Reed's got help from Joshua Kanata in that number 16 on the inside line, and the outside's looking to form up.
Into turn 3, everyone in the field trying to find what their car wants to do, trying to find where they can ride for now, playing around with the draft, seeing what they can get away with, and going through the tri-oval at speed for the first time. I tell you what, Tom, that was just about as sketchy as it could have been, and I'm glad I'm not behind the wheel tonight. I'll just say that.
Lap 1 led by Cody Reed, the pole sitter out here this evening. A little bit of a wiggle from Noah Steele. Started second on the board out here tonight, lost a couple of spots, now into the top 5 running position. Joshua Kanata trying to put some heat on the outside lane. First car runs, gets some help from Steele in the rearview mirror, as more drivers line up on the outside line, and Cody Reed continues to lead at the line with help from the 0-3.
Down into turn 1 we go again. A couple of lines, or a couple of drivers up on the high side, I should say, trying to get that line formed, but that bottom line's packed together far better, and we're seeing that prove useful down the back straightaway. I think you're not really going to do too much on that outside line at the moment if you've just got drivers trying to ride and just try to feel everything out. You kind of need to be really committed to make that outside line work, and if you have the drivers who are, it can certainly be great, as we see a move to the outside right here by Clint Cox, and that's the kind of thing that we need to see for somebody to go up there and dethrone Cody Reed.
And as this race goes along, as the tire wear goes along, we have some tire degradation. The outside lane is going to slowly become the preferred line, as the inside lane's gonna try to push up as they run along. But on board with Justin Campbell in that number 10 Toyota Supra right now, and you can just see the separation that the 16, now he's going to close up onto the back of the 0-3 of Clint Cox as they come across the start-finish line, as close as they've been to the race lead, maybe side by side down into turn number 1.
They're starting to get pretty close and pretty feisty on these moves right here, as the 25 and the 0-3 are about neck and neck down the back straightaway. A big push from the 16 of Kanata. That's going to send Cox into the lead by a nose, but through 3 and 4, that bottom line's going to have the advantage. We'll see where we're at the line, but look at that high side. We've gotten pretty formed up now, and these two lines are just about even.
I like the way that top line looks right now. Josh Kanata's doing a pretty good job pushing the race leader, Clint Cox, as they run right now, and every time the 0-3 is able to exit in front of or even with the 25, he's going to have that momentum down the back stretch or the front stretch here. But Cody Reed still trying to protect the race lead, but it looks like it is up for grabs right now with Clint Cox, as they are side by side, maybe advantage to the outside line here on the exit of 4.
There is no help on the inside line. That gap is massive after that 17 car. Going to have to wait for help, and that help can't come soon enough. This might give the opportunity, if we can get a good enough push, to Clint Cox up there, maybe off of turn 2. We can see the 2 car trying to pull up to the back of the 17. He's not going to get there fast enough. This should be 0-3 clear before too long, but that side draft keeping Cody Reed in play.
Still keeping the inside line in play with less cars formed up tight, but good pushes up on the outside lane right now. Josh Kanata still sticking with the outside lane. Nobody yet making it 3 wide, at least that we see right now, but on board with Chris Stitz in that number 17. We come down here. Don't hear any throttle play just yet, but we're only 8 laps in. We will soon hear throttle play, especially down on the inside line.
The reason we're on board right here with the 17 of Chris Stitz is I want to get a look at just how squirrely these race cars are, because last time around out of 4, I saw a pretty big wiggle out of the rear end of this 17 car, so I figured riding on board for about a lap would maybe give us a good indication. You can see that these cars, they're not very planted. On entry, they kind of get real light, and as the tires wear out and you're still running at these speeds in the draft, you can even see a little bit on exit right there. That's only going to get worse and worse, especially if you're running the bottom lane the entire time. You're taking that tighter angle. You're a little worse on the tires. You got to be ready, and you got to be careful.
Top side is slowly falling apart over the last lap, maybe lap and a half, as Clint Cox has actually just given up the lead of the outside lane to the 17 of Chris Stitz, who we were just on board with. He's going to jump up to the outside of the 25 of Cody Reed. Justin Campbell now on the inside lane, pushing the 25 through, but the 0-3 got to get even right there. Oh, that was almost bad. A little bit of right rear quarter pin there could have been a bigger issue than it was.
I thought it was about to be a huge wreck down the back straightaway. These drivers keep it going, keep everything in one piece. Not a turn 4 this time. It's the 17 who gets sideways again. Incredible work behind the wheel multiple times so far this race by the 17 of Chris Stitz, who is keeping that car pointed in the right direction. Gets washed up the track a little bit by the 2 car on the inside, Justin Campbell, and gets it sorted out. We can see Josh Kanata jumping down to the inside line, but oh boy, that 17 car has been very, very unhappy.
You know, a couple of laps ago, Arie, when we said that the inside lane had little to no help, well, now it's kind of roles reversed out here. Everybody's seeing the outside lane jumble mumble and see them get sideways when they get those pushes, and now a lot of those drivers that were pretty committed to the top have now migrated back down to the bottom lane. The top lane is being led by the 17 Chris Chris Stitz got Clint Cox directly behind him, and then a little bit of separation to the 8 of Noah Steele as they run right now.
Little bit more separation as these drivers have all kind of experienced a lap or two of elevated aggression. Just a little bit ago, we kind of saw the pack form up quite a bit. A couple of drivers were struggling. Now they're kind of easing out just a little bit. Got a long way to go. Only lap 13 out of 75 tonight, so maybe a little bit of survival mode right here. But it's kind of an accordion effect all throughout the race. You know, even in terms of aggression, drivers will kind of settle down for a little bit, give it a couple laps to cool off before they're right back at it, getting a little more impatient and wanting to get that track position.
One of the biggest movers of the night so far, Josh Stovall, up 6 positions from his qualifying start. He currently runs 5th as they cross the line to begin lap number 14 of 75 out here tonight for the preseason clash in the Trinity Racing League. But the outside lane moving now with help from the 03 of Clint Cox. Got Chris Stitz making a run up on the outside.
He's going to have a pretty good run down the back straightaway now. Unfortunately, through turns 3 and 4, that bottom line can usually hold good. They've got to use the side draft. Coming off of the corner, the high line always gets a bit of a run. We'll see if at the line it's going to be Stitz. And yes, indeed, give that lap led to the 17 car on the outside as more help is on its way.
First time we've seen anybody other than Cody Reed lead a lap out here this evening. Chris Stitz going to try to pull a side draft down the backstretch here. And you take a look, 10 rows deep. They're 2 by 2. Got a couple of cars in the back of the field still hanging on to the draft. That's going to be the 18 of Graham Walker, Sam Dyer, Nolan Hicks back there, just staying with the draft. And you know, I mean, if you're in one of those positions back there, I mean, you're 15, 16 laps into this, Arie. Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for you to get up there and try to push your way forward because, like we said earlier, this track is very narrow, not a whole lot of places to go. So just kind of ride, keep the draft right now. No stages. That's what's going to separate this race from the usual ones that we see, where they know they have a guaranteed caution.
To your point, Tom, if you're riding back here, you know you're not going to get the track position easily, and this is a fantastic view. We've got all our fancy cameras up here in the broadcast booth, but I tell you what, Tom, this view right here of pack racing never gets old. When you're the first driver behind the pack and you're watching the chaos unfold, we got a driver on the inside.
Car on the apron on the entry down into turn number 1. Looks like that's going to be Josh Stovall in the 1. Going to lose multiple spots, no damage, no other cars collected, a single car incident. Not sure what precipitated that, but a great job by the 1, but he is going to be in danger of losing the draft and lose the draft. Yes, he has done that.
Let's take a look and see if we can figure it out. The timing was pretty impeccable right there. You can see it in the tri-oval a little bit further up right here. Just 2, 3, maybe almost 4 wide for half a second, just no real estate. Great save by Stovall in the 1, by the way. Has to save it all the way around the corner, by the way. And does so, loses the draft, but great heads-up driving. And I tell you what, Tom, the timing was perfect. I was just talking about how you're watching the chaos right there, and then we watched the chaos in real time, so that worked out.
Our first glimpse of 3 wide resulted in that out here this evening. A couple of more drivers towards the back of the field, the 30 and the 42, the 6. A couple of these drivers getting 3 wide back around the back half of the top 10. As they run right now, but still up front, the 25, the 03, the 10, the 17, as they run the top 2 rows.
The front of the pack has not died down whatsoever, despite the near miss a couple of laps previous. These drivers are still going, still having at it, still pushing for all they're worth as we work lap 20. This time by, this race so far has been ticking off the laps like it's nothing. And we're waiting to see if somebody's going to make a slip up, if we're going to start thinking about pit stops before too long.
2 by 2 by 2 by 2. That's how they race down into the South End Speedway with the 25 still leading. And, you know, kind of in the pre-race, Arie, he said, you know, I feel good about my qualifying. Don't really know how I'm going to finish out here tonight. Would like to get my first win. So far, he's been putting on a pretty good show up front. Got the pole position out here this evening and been able to hold that position with help right now from Justin Campbell the entire opening 20 laps of tonight's event, with Clint Cox still working the outside, Justin Campbell and Chris Stitz as they run.
I tell you what, one thing that I've been noticing, speaking of Cody Reed, Justin Campbell, is through the corners on the bottom line, I've seen one too many times for my comfort, Justin Campbell in the 2-car drifting up into that middle lane and getting real close to the 0-3 and real close to the 17. I can't help but wonder if they're not careful, that could result in an incident, especially through turn 2. It looks a lot worse in turn 2, where that 2-car is getting a little tight and drifting up the racetrack. So something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, and that could be the tire wear already coming into play. I mean, we're probably about a quarter of the way into a fuel run, and we know the tires are going to be an issue out here this evening. Drivers do have 5 total tire sets that they can use out here this evening, and you're going to see the Justin Campbell slide up just a little bit again in turns 1 and 2. The 17 having to react and slide up the track just a little bit, give a little bit of extra space here. But now, Arie, obviously the outside lane, one of the best ways for them to move forward is to run aggressively on the inside lane. You see that a couple of times. Do you just say, you know, we're just going to slide up half a lane here and try to work with that?
It could very well be the case. I think it depends driver to driver, and you know, all it takes is it lining up at a bad time. Like, you can get away with it for the most part for a lot of the race, but the one time it ends up being the very, you know, tip of the nose to the very tip of the rear fender, and it could all go away. But you can see right here, like, that instance is fine when you're kind of nose or oh my god, we've got trouble. The 2 cars around on the tri-oval, multiple cars getting involved. We are still under green. There are cars parked on the track, including Justin Campbell.
Justin Campbell having an issue. Looks like Josh Stovall is going to get through. Dakota Moniz may have slid through the pit stall right there, but issues on lap number 25 out here this evening. Lights stay green as we try to get we'll get a look at this queued up, but damage on the front of the 2.
Indeed, and we are going to have to go back a little bit further as well to catch exactly what happened to Justin Campbell. Maybe even get another replay right here if we can from the 2 cars. So coming down the front straightaway right here, we've got to move to the inside by the 8 car of Noah Steele. The 2 comes down to try and continue running in this line, and that 8 car is just there. That is just 2 cars kind of coming together through the tricky tri-oval, and oh boy, is it tricky, Tom, as we see Campbell try and lock up the brakes. He did a good job of not letting that get any worse, and unfortunately for the 5 car, Dakota Moniz takes an incredibly hard hit, and that is going to end that blazing fast Chevy Camaro's night. Unfortunate, and I tell you what, I am amazed that we are still up at full speed.
Still green flag racing as they run. Got 15 cars in this pack as they come across the start-finish line to begin lap number 28 of 75 out here tonight. Approaching the halfway mark of fuel. We know that drivers can run anywhere between 60 to 65 laps, so got to start thinking here, Arie. If you're a driver maybe kind of mid-pack right now, if you're like Ryan Kelly, Malik Kuntz, Ali Fonseca, do you take an opportunity to come down, get out of this mess that you're in, come down on pit road with a group of 2 or 3 or 4 others, and just try to make solid laps while you have clean track?
It's tempting, especially if you know you've got help and you trust the help that's coming down to all have a good pit stop and stay close together. You need it, right? And then getting out of the risk of being in the big pack is well worth it, but you know, it's a risk reward because you get out of the pack, and if you're not linked up perfectly with enough drivers, you're going to lose out on time at the end of the day. So we'll see how it goes for these drivers, but you know, if I'm in the top 5, maybe even the top 10, I'm not going to try anything crazy. If I'm further back, if I'm kind of stuck towards the back of this pack, I think I'm a little more receptible.
One driver in danger of losing the draft is Joshua Sawyer back in the 19. He's about 2 seconds off the race leader, about 1.8 off of the 16th place running car. So some drivers in danger of losing the pack, and right now some green flag pit stops would help those drivers towards the back of the field as they run right now. But new names up front, it is Chris Stitz in the 17, the 0-3 of Clint Cox as they come across the start finish line, and we are working lap number 31 of 75 out here tonight. See some team colors up on the outside lane.
I was just about to point it out, the 03 and the 53, Clint Cox and Chris Stamper working that outside line. You can't miss them with those identical paint schemes right there, and they're finally nose to tail, so these drivers got to know that they can count on those two working together no matter what happens, and now that they are linked up on that outside line, that's got to be a pretty dangerous prospect.
Hear the sights and the sounds from the Trinity Racing League as they come out of turn number 2. Chris Stitzel leading the inside lane with Clint Cox to his outside. New name up front that we haven't said all night, Chris Stamper in the 53 working the outside lane. He's up 11 spots from his qualifying position, one of the bigger moves of tonight's race, along with Malik Kuntz up 9, Ben Kinney up 8 as they run right now, but they are still side by side as they come across the stripe. And we're starting to see that inside line, Arie, use a little bit more of that apron on the front stretch, very similar to what we saw in qualifying, but doing it in a race session, it requires a lot of coordination between you and the cars behind you, because the cars behind you, they don't really know how far low you're going to go on that apron, and that could cause some issues trying to do it in the race.
Issues like what we saw with Justin Campbell earlier on, something in the apron. That's the most treacherous part of the racetrack. The most treacherous part of any super speedway track is right here through that trioval. You got to be very careful. And I tell you what, I wonder if it's not maybe a small element of the bottom line kind of needs to find an advantage, because now the way the tires are swinging, that bottom line probably doesn't feel too good, and they're doing good enough to kind of maintain their track position. They're not getting beaten by that outside line, but as these laps tick by, if you're on the inside line, you're really having to work that car, so you got to wonder if they're just looking for any help they can get.
Yeah, the outside lane has only got 5 cars committed to working with it right now. Everybody else on the inside line as they run. And as we approach the halfway point of tonight's event out here tonight, I want to give a shout out to the halfway sponsor, and that is Apex 50. Hey, if you're looking for a fun and relatable sim racing content, head on over to SG_racing. They've got you covered. Check out Sam Garcia, Apex 50 on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitch.
There's the Apex 50 machine right there. That Toyota Supra running back in P16, waiting for the next bit of chaos to unfold. Got that car looking pretty pristine, pretty good. Banking on more trouble ahead. And speaking of what's going on ahead, look at this, Tom. The teammates, they split up, which kind of surprises me. It's Clint Cox in the 03 who's now leading that inside line.
It's got to make me wonder if a big move from the 17 of Chris Stitz on the inside lane. He's going to hang on to it, hold on to second place, but a big wiggle down in turn 3. What I was going to say, Arie, is that seeing this top lane kind of split up the way that it is, especially with teammates leaving each other, got to start wondering if there's internal communications going on about, I'm going to come down onto pit road in the next 5 laps, 7 laps. You see the outside lane getting a push from the 24 of Arie Fonseca as they come through. It'd be interesting to see here if the 03 maybe thinks about letting in the 53 to make some team pit stops.
Could very well be the case, and I know one thing's for sure, this worked out great, because now instead of being nose to tail, these teammates lead either line, and you can't go wrong if every single lap is being led by somebody on the team.
It's a risk versus reward, Arie. As we see a little bit more 3-wide action back here, Justin Smith runs about 9th in that bright red Chevy Camaro as they run right now 3-wide directly behind him with the 19, the 16, and the 42. Kind of all up in a mumble jumble back here, but back up to the race lead, Clint Cox, Chris Stamper, Arie Fonseca, they're going to continue to lead. Now, the outside lane's actually making some progress here on the inside.
That they are. This field has shuffled up quite a bit in the last couple of laps, and that outside line looks a little hungrier than what we've got going on the inside. We know that 17 car is all over the racetrack. The illest handling of the bunch, I would say, by a mile, and that can't be very good for Clint Cox's chances of retaining the lead up front in that 03, though so far he's done a good job side drafting his teammate in the 53 up top.
Quick housekeeping of tonight's event so far. 21 cars still on the lead lap right now. Looks like Dakota Moniz going to be the first car out with earlier damage with the incident with Justin Campbell. about 15 laps ago. So 21 cars, all 21 cars that are running, still on the lead lap. Not all in the draft pack out here. Josh Stovall, issues for the sixth, issues for the 51.
So many issues trying to keep up with everybody. Sorry to cut you off there, Tom. Is Mike's cutting out
Justin
just a little
Smith
bit.
goes for a ride. Ben Kinney goes for a ride in turn 3. And we're going to see the yellow flags illuminate for the first time out here this evening in the Trinity Racing League at EchoPark Speedway. Let's take a look here. I saw Justin go around here. Does he just get loose kind of all on his own?
It looks like he does. A little bit of an overcorrection, a little bit of a snap, and that just sends the car even looser. The 51, the 99, they've got nowhere to go as that 6 car gets sideways, and from there, everyone else along for the ride, they're going to collect the 9 on the inside. It's going to get a pretty big hit. The 6 into that outside line, that is some fatal damage right there into the wall for that race car. That is going to be lights out, and as everyone else kind of finishes skidding all around every which way, kind of come back up the track a little bit, Josh Kanata slowly making his way through everything right here. But I tell you what, Tom, all things considered, I feel like that could have been a whole lot worse than it was.
It certainly could have. A couple of drivers with terminal damage. It looks like Justin Smith going to have terminal damage for the night. No fast repairs for these drivers to use, but the field on pit road for competitive service out here this evening for the first time.
Well, this is going to answer our question about when we were going to see the pit stops. No green flag pit stops tonight, as it looks like the teammates are going to come out 1-2 ahead of the rest of the field. Everyone shaking their way on out right here, but now it is all out to the finish, and at a little over halfway at that. So split the race in half more or less, and now it's all about putting yourself in position. And speaking of being in position, we've got the 18 car who has not made a pit stop, currently out on track, currently leading the race, and currently not down on the apron to make a pit stop. So is the 18 car trying to pull something? He's saving fuel. Graham Walker in the 18 car may be going for the most unorthodox strategy of the night. Try to save enough fuel to get to the end.
I had wondered if maybe if the 18 of Graham Walker maybe missed pit road entrance for whatever reason while everybody else was coming down. Remember, they do have to take that unorthodox lane into pit road, but looks like Graham is going to stay out. Something new here in the Trinity Racing League that you and I haven't seen yet.
No, we haven't.
Do actually. I know you're all sorts of confused. Drivers do have the choose rule out here tonight. So the restart leader Graham Walker, yet to make a pit stop, elects to take the inside line. Chris Stamper in that 53. Looks like they're going to get reshuffled up here. Okay, so Graham Walker on the restart elects to take the outside lane here.
All right, well, looks like we've got it sorted. The lights are out on the pace car. Everyone's getting themselves put nose to tail right here. Everyone feels like they're where they need to be to put themselves in the best position. We're going to restart, coming to lap 43 out of 75 tonight. Call it about 30 or so laps to the finish. And I got to imagine, Tom, there's no more sitting around or waiting. It's go time.
I don't think there ever was sitting around or waiting for these drivers out here tonight, Arie. Only a 75-lap race, and it goes by in a hurry. We're already past the halfway mark of tonight's race, but the iRacing.com pace car going to make a hard left-hand turn down onto pit road. We're going to see Barney hold the green flag high up in the air and send him on the way for the second time this evening.
Green flag is out, and we are underway for the second time this evening. Field in the hands of Graham Walker. Down towards turn one. Gonna get clear is that 18 Toyota Supra and lead the two teammates behind.
Now, if I'm the 53, I'm really concerned with the 18 not taking tires here because we've seen some drivers fighting tire issues out here this evening. Does that 18 slide up in turn number 3? You can see a couple of drivers abandoning ship down on the inside lane there. They're going to jump up onto the outside. Clint Cox going to take the race lead as they go into turn number 3. The 18's got a little bit of separation from the 24 of Ali Fonseca as they come across the start-finish line, but almost dead even at the line. Advantage to the outside line. Clint Cox to the race lead.
Yeah, I really like the outside line right here. They've got the tires. They've got the teammates linked up. The 18's just going to maybe be a little bit in survival mode at the moment. Going to have to work a little harder with those tires, but if he's got a good enough pusher behind him in Fonseca, then he should be okay. And now he's got a car ahead of him. And to be honest, Tom, that might make the handling worse.
Yeah, you got to imagine that it would as they're going to put dirty air on the nose of that Supra. But I mean, I don't really hate this strategy for the 18, Arie, right? If we get a caution here in 10, 12 laps, as long as Graham can hold the positions over the next 10, 12 laps before he's mandated to make a pit stop just by the lack of fuel in that Supra, it could be a net gain if we get a quick caution here.
It very well could, and one thing another thing to consider, I should say, is that the 18 was not in the picture before that pit sequence right there. We're 3 wide further back in the meantime.
Big moments out of turn number 4 as is no
Trying to find, here we are. Malik Kuntz, the driver in question.
And the 42 were making contact as they came through turns 3 and 4. And maybe a little bit of battle over real estate down here. We'll take another look here. Got Nolan Hicks down on the inside. Or, excuse me, Josh Stovall down on the inside. Mark Laboratory in the middle. And then Malik Kuntz up on the outside lane in that black and orange number 33. And here you start to see a little bit of contact there. That upsets the 33, the handling of it. And then they're going to come out turn number 4, and it's all going to break loose.
That it is. We're going to get a good slow-mo view of it right here is really where it goes bad. Up into the outside wall, that is some significant damage. Down across the front end of the 99. Josh Kanata's got nowhere to go. Going to get hit right there, as is the Taco Bell machine of the 86, making his way into the picture. All the while, we've got cars sliding across the front stretch right here.
I'll tell you what, Josh Kanata has given us the views of the night. Let's see if we can't get an onboard clip here from the 16, because that's 2 incidents that Josh was very close in.
I agree. Let's take a look.
A little bit of contact there with the right front, but all things considered, he's going to be able to take that Supra through the grass without major issue.
Just a little bit of right front.
Down, get a little bit of damage fixed, but not too bad considering what it could have been. And the fun part about that, Arie, is that halfway through the corner, he had no clue that was happening up on the outside.
No, absolutely not. It can happen at any second, and when you're 2, 3 wide in that position, you're just... The only thing you're focused on, Tom, is let me keep my car glued to that inside line. Let me not be the one who slides up into somebody else, and everything else, well, that's just going to happen around me.
This could have been the break for the 18 of Graham that he was looking for, but looks like it's going to come a little too early for him to take advantage of it. Graham's going to come down on pit road, lose a bunch of spots, as it looks like he is back in the 18th place running order. You see him coming through here on the apron, but drivers getting lined up, and we know they're good on fuel, Arie, but let's not forget they do have 3 green-white checkers out here tonight to use.
That they do, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get to using them. And you know what? I don't think I would complain based on how the racing action has been thus far tonight. I tell you what, though, another couple of people who can't complain, that's Clint Cox and Chris Stamper, those 2 Ford Mustangs. Those twin rides out front leading either line, looking to control this race for the remainder of the duration. Since they've gotten up here and put themselves in the picture, they've done a pretty fantastic job of staying there.
For the next 2 weeks here on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network, the Trinity Racing League is going to be right here at EchoPark Speedway. Next week, we've got the duels at EchoPark, and then we've got the, I guess it's the real season opener on January 12th for 150 laps of racing out here underneath the morning sun as these drivers get set to go. So a little bit of preseason testing out here this evening. 75 laps getting ready to get concluded out here this evening. We're going to go green flag racing for the third time out here this evening.
Pace car getting ready and pulling off of the surface right there. Field back in the hands of Clint Coxon, the 0-3 on the inside. Let's see what kind of restart we're working with here as we make our way down into turn 1. Everyone getting up to speed. And one thing I do notice here, Tom, is that 18 car back in the pack did elect to come down pit road that time.
He did come down pit road, so we know that everybody is now good on fuel. Everybody has stopped for the required service of fuel, but the 0-3 of Clint Cox on the inside lane. The outside lane's getting a pretty big push right now with Chris Stamper, Chris Stitz on the outside lane. Ali Fonseca runs third up in the outside lane. Samuel Garcia in that pink and white number 50 now puts himself up into about the 8th place running position.
Across the line that time, it's the 0-3 of Cox in control of this race now with the rear bumper full of Noah Steele in the 8 car trying to get help right there. Drivers are looking to get every advantage that they can. And here's the question for you, Tom. If you're the 53, if you're leading that outside line and your teammates leading the inside line, are you thinking of maybe dragging the brake just a little bit? Maybe you don't want to get too good of a run so that you two can continue to control either lane, or are you just going to go with what you're given?
Well, yes and no. I mean, we've got 24 laps to go out here, right? I mean, at some point, you're going to want to get lined up because you're going to be able to work more effectively nose to tail than you are side by side. And you're also going to be able to trust the person that's directly behind you. With 24 laps to go, 23 laps to go next time, probably not just yet. But in the closing laps, maybe 15, 12 laps to go, that's where I'm not going to be dragging any brake. That's where I'm going to be trying to get in front of my teammate and saying, hey, I'm in front of you. You're pushing me for the next 12 laps.
That's a fair point. Down into turn 1, we roll. The field is getting dicey. These drivers know that the laps are counting down. We're down to 23 remaining, and they got to get where they're going. You got to imagine the further back into the field you go, the higher the desperation meter is getting. Got to get up there, got to have the track position. You're not going to win it from 10th place, so get it figured out. I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, the 3rd, 4th, 5th car back in line is really where we start to see drivers just taking any gap that's given to them, just trying both lanes, desperately trying to go wherever they can. And look at this, we're already 3 wide at the moment with some close calls a little bit further back. That 25 up through the middle of the field. Cody Reed, our pole sitter, down the back straightaway. Are they going to hold it? Are they going to survive somehow, some way? Still going, and oh, they finally made contact. Multiple drivers involved out of turn 4. One of our race leaders in the 53 going for a ride. And the caution
Chris
is out.
Stamper's going to take some damage on that incident. Other drivers involved looks like Mark Libertoni had an incident. Ryan Kelly had an off and on track here. Let's go on. Let's take another look here. See the 25 of Cody Reed comes through the middle on the backstretch there. Contact on the exit of turn number 4. Noah Steele on the inside lane. Looks like he's going to almost be able to hold it. Gets quartered by the 30. He's going to come back up, collect the 53, and that's kind of what sends everybody around. Sam Garcia has a moment in there, and multiple other drivers here for another caution on tonight's event.
That it is, and highly unfortunate for a couple of these drivers who are having a fantastic run of it, but oh, what could have been. It was a great run up towards the front for the 25 of Cody Reed, our pole sitter, who made that daring 3-wide move all the way down the backstretch and through the corners, and it almost stuck, almost got those positions without issue. But alas, the issues did present themselves. Cody Reed does make it through unscathed, now running in P2, but Clint Cox, our race leader, now all alone. No teammate, no wingman up there to help control this race, and that is certainly going to bring a lot of other drivers into the play.
Drivers 10th on back did stop for either damage or just service on their vehicles. So the top 9 stay out on the track right now. The top 5, let's reset after that most recent caution. Clint Cox, the race leader. Cody Reed currently runs second. Chris Stintz in the 17 is third. Ollie Fonseca in the 24 is fourth. And Joshua Sawyer rounds out the top 5 as they run right now.
That is our biggest mover of the race at this point in time, is Joshua Sawyer in the High Rock Machine, running in P5 at the moment, up 14 positions from where he started this race. A couple of names up here who haven't had their names called out too much tonight. We've got Sawyer, of course. We've got Stovall. We've got Labertone. A number of drivers who are just kind of biding their time, surviving the chaos, surviving the carnage, picking them off, and finding themselves in the right time with now under 20 laps to go.
So how do you feel about 14 lap better tires here, Arie, with a handful of laps to go?
You know, it might just prove worth it enough, to be quite honest with you. I might fancy it, but I guess it depends on how much track position that you gave up to get there. I think if you're up in the top maybe top 6 to 8, I wouldn't I would be fine just kind of staying out. Wouldn't really think about it. Anywhere further back, especially if you're in the incident, I don't know, those tires might make me feel a little more confident, maybe get a little more daring with some of my moves.
All right, so let's restack here real quick. Nolan Hicks, one of the drivers on pit road in the most recent caution, he came down, took 4 tires, I presume. Graham Walker in the 18, also on a tire advantage right now. Ryan Kelly, Samuel Garcia, Sam Dyer, Noah Steele, as they run in the top 15 right now. So with just a handful of laps to go out here tonight, I think now, Arie, I mean, you think we saw it 3 wide before. I think we're getting to see some real 3 wide here on this restart with the tire advantage towards about 10th place on back.
Well, I tell you what, anytime we've seen 3 wide so far tonight, it hasn't resulted well. We'll see if we can make it happen before the night is up. I tell you what, it may not be working out, but that might not stop these drivers either way. Pace car getting ready to pull off for yet another time, and to the green flag we go. Field in the hands of Clint Cox once again, and our pole sitters made his way back up towards the front. That's Cody Reed on the outside.
Into the restart zone they go once again, as we see just 18 laps of racing out here tonight for the preseason clash in the Trinity Racing League, where 2 bonus points are up for grabs for the race winner. Everybody else, thanks for coming. We'll see you next Monday night. Clint Cox takes the race lead on the exit turn number 2 with help from the 17 of Chris Stitz as they run. Cody Reed still leads the outside lane into 3.
All right, officially up to speed, and now we're going to see what these drivers elect to do with it. Coming off of turn 4 right here, it's going to be a car length and a half for Clint Cox, and to the line. That run on the outside is not going to be enough until we get down into turn 1, and this is where it gets dicey. We're 3 wide further back. Josh Sawyer on the outside does survive that one. The Taco Bell machine, Nolan Hicks, gets out of the gas on that one, lives to fight another day, but I think we're going to see a lot more of that sort of thing happening. Maybe not even intentional 3 wide, just drivers getting real aggressive for the real estate, and before you know it, you might have a nose in the wrong place, and it could be too late.
You can just see how much closer, how much more formed up the outside lane is right now with Ollie in the 24, pushing the 25 through on the outside lane. Potentially to the race lead, got Mike Miller running directly behind them. But on the backstretch there, Arie, on the exit of turn number 4, the 24 was a lot tighter on the outside lane than the inside lane was, and that may be a result of the tires that we see running out here this evening. The outside lane's going to slide up just a little bit, still give the advantage to the inside of Clint Cox and Chris Stitz.
And Chris Stitz might have an opportunity, if they keep running like that, to jump out in front of the outside line and make something happen. We've seen that 17 car be pretty aggressive up to this point in the race, and he might take the opportunity. His issues.
Thomas Walter goes around on the entry into turn number 1. Sam Garcia involved. Thomas Walter, Joshua Canada, all off pace. Lights are yellow. Once again, we're going to see another caution flag out here this evening.
That we are. Let's ride around with the 57. Headed down into turn 1. It kind of starts before the corner, and then it's saved, and it's not saved, and it's saved, and it's not saved. And I mean, that just kind of feels like super Speedway racing right there.
Josh Kanata once again. I know we've said it a few times out here tonight. Josh Kanata in the hornet's nest of the most recent caution, and I do believe he got through this one clean once again.
Wow. I tell you what, we should we need to have a permanent onboard camera for Josh Kanata. Maybe somebody can sponsor that as well. It gets a lot of action apparently.
Drivers working lap number 61 under the yellow flag out here this evening. Clint Cox, Chris Stitz, the top 2 as they run right now. Cody Reed, Josh Stovall, and Ollie Fonseca, the top 5 as they run. The top 10, Mike Miller, Mark Labertoni, Joshua Sawyer, Nolan Hicks, and Ryan Kelly.
All right, Tom, we're working lap 62 across the line right here. We are under 15 laps to go at this point. Give it to me straight. Who do you like?
Well, I like the tires. If I'm taking somebody who just pitted 10 laps or so ago, I like the 18. He kind of ran an alternate strategy, put his nose up front, felt what it was like to get the fresh air on the front of that 18 car. However, it's hard to go against the 03 and the 17 who've been working together very well this entire race. But let's not also forget Cody Reed started on the pole, and he's shown that he's not afraid to take it 3 wide and try to make a lane to push himself forward. So I guess I'll take 5 cars here, Arie.
Take about half the field. Why don't you? I tell you what, driver I like the most is going to be that 17 car of Chris Stitz. We've said his name a lot tonight so far as being the driver who's got the illest handling car, but more than anything, you know what I've seen out of that 17, Tom, is that he has saved it each and every time. He is up on the wheel. He is ready. He is reacting. He is not afraid to get uncomfortable, to go fast, and I think if the opportunity presents itself for Chris Stitz, he's going to take it, and it might just work out.
Well, let's not forget here, Arie. Drivers were informed by race control earlier tonight that they can use the apron anywhere along this track, but notably on the front stretch. We haven't seen the 17 of Chris Stitz try to jump out off the 03 just yet. Could we be seeing the 17 decide to jump up and try to make a pass on the front stretch on the apron and kind of catch the 03 off guard? That would kind of flip everything that we know on its head.
That it could, and a good point that you bring up right here as we see drivers approaching the choose at the start and finish line right here. What lane are they choosing? They make it nice and clear out on track across the line, and a bunch of vehicles a little further back on the track catching up to the field. So there is how it's going to shake out. We've got Clint Cox remaining in control of this race in that 03 Ford Mustang. And on the outside, Chris Stitz, driver the 17, that Chevy Camaro looking to park in victory lane before it's all said and done. The second row starting to look a little bit different. Cody Reed's up here again, of course. We've got Josh Stovall up in the conversation. And a driver who's kind of gone up into the top 5 and very much has not gone away is Ollie Fonseca as well. So you gotta figure with how well he's been keeping himself in the picture, he can't be out of it yet.
So we approach 15 laps to go in tonight's race. I want to give one more quick shout out to the title sponsor of tonight's race, Larry's Arts Productions. It's a comedy variety YouTube channel from stop motion, vlogs, live streams, and more. Check out Larry Arts Productions on YouTube today.
Lights are out on the pace car. Barney's got the green flag for the, what is this, 5th time tonight, ending our 4th caution, and we've got a shootout to the end right here. Let's see if we go green to the end this time. Let's see if we get more 3-wide action. Into the restart zone we go. Clint Cox going to lay down the gas pedal, and off we go. Great restart for the 03. Maybe going to bring the inside line with him down into turn 1.
Clint Cox takes a commanding lead down into turn number 1 by 2, maybe 3 car lengths as they run right now. This could spell trouble on the exit of turn number 2. Does he protect the inside or the outside lane? Both of them are coming at the same time. The outside lane to the right rear quarter panel of the 03. Chris Stitz to the lead as they run right now with Josh Stovall pushing down into 3.
Couldn't quite get the lead and get clear into turn 3 right there, though it was a fantastic push. Now neck and neck across the line this time by. Give it to the 0-3 at the line. We are working 10 laps to go as the 17 tries to dethrone Clint Cox.
And again, Arie, we've seen it all night long where the outside lane is the lane that people try to line up to be in position to make a pass. This could be a setup for the 17 and the 1 of Stovall to try to set themselves up to be in position to make the pass for the race lead, as we just see 9 laps to go, under 10 laps of racing this time by.
That's right, and we are near 3 wide, maybe we are 3 wide further back. Here it is, 2 by 3, 3 by 2 rather, and now it gets dicey, Tom. How is this going to play out? After the top 6, we're 3 wide. It looks like it's settling out just a little bit, but we've got Sawyer on the outside line, not going anywhere, holding on at the moment. These drivers are holding their breath.
No help for the driver with the orange numbers all atop that Chevy Camaro. As they come across the start-finish line, they're going to be dead even at the line. Chris Stitz and Clint Cox going to be leading us side by side at the start-finish line. Josh Stovall still staying up on the back bumper of that 17 as they run down the backstretch here. Advantage to the outside lane here. They're a lot more formed up than the inside.
That they are. I don't know how we survived that 3 wide situation as the 17 gets so out of control from the 0-3 contact. The 17's around in front of the field. The big one out of turn 4. Multiple drivers involved. Hard hits everywhere you look. Smoke and debris. Fire and ash, unbelievable. And the 25 car is leading this race. Oh boy, Tom, let's let's back this one up a little bit.
Let's decompress here a little bit and take a look. So you got to push from the outside lane here of the 1 and the 17. Where does things start to go wrong here? You see the 17 start to abandon the outside lane just a little bit. He's going to drop down in front of the 03. Is there contact there between these? Yeah, I would say there's contact between the 03 and the 17. Chris Stitt's going to do a nice job holding on to it. And then, well, everybody just kind of gets sideways from here.
That they do, of course not helped by a little bit of internet netcode as the 24 gets turned up into the field. And when you're exiting the corner, you got drivers getting right hooked up into everybody. Man, you are just along for the ride. The 25 car, the 86, they're the only 2, it looks like, that get through unscathed. The 17 didn't get too bad, actually. He was obviously a part of the initial things going on, but it could have been a lot worse.
I tell you what, Arie, I think we need a Josh Kanata counter.
I think we do. He's in the grass. He's in the grass. Let's take a look on board with old Kanata right here. Going to be our honorary on-board driver all season at this point. Great job avoiding that. Kanata got on the brakes. He turned as far off of the track as he could. Not afraid to mow the lawn a little bit. That was great.
So that's what, number 4 for Josh out here tonight, maybe?
I don't know, but I tell you what, I'm gonna ask Josh if he's teaching any wreck avoidance classes, because I could take some notes.
All right, so let's reset here real quick. The top 5 as they run: Cody Reed, Chris Stitz, Mike Miller, Nolan Hicks, Joshua Kanata. That's the top 5 as they run. Nolan Hicks in 4th place on this restart, that Taco Bell purple and black machine that you see running back there. He's got about 14 lap better tires than the race leaders, Cody Reed and Chris Stitz, and about 8 lap better tires than the car in front of him, Mike Miller.
Not to mention, he's got one of the best sponsors out on track tonight. I'm a little biased, and a good-looking paint scheme right there. Love me some Taco Bell. Haven't had it in a good little bit.
Gotta get the, they used to have these, they used to have like the little grilled cheese stackers, you know what I'm talking about?
I've never had them.
Oh, I'll have to send them to you. They used to have like little grilled cheese stackers down at my Taco Bell. It might have been a regional thing, but very good. also very bad. But we are lights off and ready to go racing once again out here tonight from EchoPark Speedway, where 2 bonus points are on the line to the race winner out here tonight, and that could be the difference between making the playoffs and sitting on the sidelines throughout them.
Absolutely could be. After 70 laps time, the pole sitter has once again found himself in control of this race. Cody Reed on the inside in that black 25 machine, looking to end this race where he started. He's going to have a great shot to do so. To his outside, it's Mike Miller in the 99. That car might not have a number on the side of it, but I tell you what else it doesn't have, and that's much damage. He's going to be in good position. Chris Stitz still in the conversation. He got out of that mostly unscathed in the 17. He's got a little bit of damage on the left rear right there. Kind of push in a little bit, but as long as that spoiler's not affected, he should be okay. We'll have to keep an eye on it.
We're going to restack, repack, and we're going to see just a handful of laps to go out here tonight for the clash at EchoPark Speedway. Pace car down and away once again. We're going to come down into the restart zone. The field being led by pole sitter out here tonight, Cody Reed on the inside lane, Mike Miller on the outside lane. The field sees the green flag.
Up to speed we roll, and Cody Reed in control. We might get 2 cars clear into turn 1. Does Chris Stitz have the opportunity? He does. He jumps to the outside, and oh, where did he come from? Josh Kanata in the 16 is now the second car on the inside. He's going to pull up to the rear bumper of our race leader. We're already 3 wide.
3 wide with Nolan Hicks on the outside lane as they run right now. Gets a little bit of a push from Mike Miller into the outside wall. The 86 out of contention as they run right now, but all eyes up front. Cody Reed, Josh Kanata, that's the top 2 as they run. And then you got the 42, 17, 99 all up underneath the blanket.
I think if you're Josh Kanata, you've got to make a move for the race lead. Don't get stuck as the second car in line. You're going to want to jump in front of the 17. I don't think he did so as quick as he needed to. He's going to stay on the rear bumper of Cody Reed in the 25, and that's going to allow Chris Stitz in the 17 to have an opportunity now, leading that outside line. Wants to get back up front. Nearly taken out in the last incident. He's still got a chance at the line. It's 2 to go.
2 to go at the line. The field sees the popsicle sticks over the speedway in the outside lane of Chris Stitz, making a run on the outside as they run. Mike Miller trying to get to the back of the 17. You have to be the first car on the outside lane if you want to win this race. Right now, that 17 car is the first car on the outside lane. What does Cody Reed do? Does he protect the outside lane? He's still going to run down onto the inside. A little bit of a bobble from Stitz down into turn 3.
Off of turn 4 and to the white flag. Cody Reed in control of this race, and Josh Kanata makes the move. We're 3, nearly 4 wide into turn 1.
It's the move we were waiting for as the field falls apart behind him. Josh Kanata takes the race lead with Mark Libertoni directly behind him. Cody Reed sideways on the backstretch in the middle. We're 3 wide behind him, but Josh Kanata to the race lead, entering the turn 3 for the last time.
He gets a bump from behind. He comes up to block it. To the inside comes Labertone, and now Kanata bouncing off of him from the high side. Comes Reed into the line, side by side. Give the advantage to Cody Reed in the 25 in a thriller here in EchoPark. Tom, what did we just see?
2 100ths of a second. We saw a photo finish out here tonight. We're going to try to grab a quick replay of the finishing results out here tonight. Cody Reed takes the checkered flag and the 2 bonus points out here this evening. All right, let's unpack this last lap here.
Let's do it. We've got the 16 of Kanata throwing a block on the inside line right here from the race lead. That 42 of Labertone is going to get into the back of Kanata. That sends the 16 down to the apron. He does come back up on track. It causes an accordion. The 18's down to the inside. Everything's okay until this happens right here. Driver's getting back up on track. The 17 gets sideways. The 53's getting tight because the 25's going up. The 25 just drives into the wall. The guys on the outside are going to go into the wall. The 42 moves the 16 out of the way, and these guys are 3 wide. The 16 is going to bounce off of the 42 multiple times, trying to stay in contention. That's going to slow the 42 down, and here comes the 25 from the top rope from the high line down to the side of the 42. They are going to make contact. No, they aren't going to make contact. And to the line by the narrowest of margins, it is Cody Reed in the 25 who wins this race in a thriller.
What an incredible last lap turn of events. We saw Josh Kanata take a move. We were waiting for that move to happen all night long, and then it kind of fell apart for the 16. But the big winner out here tonight, the 25, the pole sitter, Cody Reed, gets his first win. We spoke to him in the pre-race out here this evening, and he sets his sights on a championship out here this season as we look to gather up your top 3 podium finishers out here tonight.
All right, it looks like we've got a couple of them ready. We can see if we can't pull up our third place finisher, who surprise, surprise, driver of the 18 coming home in P3. Graham Walker, it is Arie and Tom up in the booth. You got us.
Yeah.
All right, well, I tell you what, you had a very up and down race. You pulled off a pretty crazy strategy at one point, not pitting and electing to kind of stay out and hold on to the lead. First and foremost, was that intentional or was that an accident?
It was an accident. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention, didn't realize pit road was open, so I stayed out. And I was like, oh shoot, well, I guess I'm just gonna full commit to this. So, yeah.
Fair enough. Well, I tell you what, you got to get the track position out of there. It did offset you sequence-wise to where you had some newer tires than the rest of the field after a couple more of those cautions came out. And at that point, you were kind of further back in the pack. And by the end of it, you know, I look up and you're third on the board. So, I mean, there was so much to unpack in that last 1 or 2 laps right there. But just kind of walk us through the final run and how you managed to get from where you were all the way up to where you are.
I usually like to just like sit back and watch everything happen. Like, we had more yellows towards the end. I was like, you know, if I sit in the back, you know, I can avoid these. Hopefully I won't be in them. So that went to plan well. So I was able to avoid the wrecks, gain a lot of track position from that. And then I think, by the last restart, I was like P8 or something on the inside. So, I mean, I was like top 10 and I just kind of sat on the bottom. So definitely worked out well for me.
All right. Well, I tell you what, I think it worked out for all of us tonight because that was a fantastic run to the finish. And we're just getting the season started here. You're one of the new drivers around looking to come out here and make a name. How are you feeling after the strong performance and getting ready to head into the duels and the rest of the season?
I'm feeling all right. I know I've never been in like an Xfinity league, but I always feel like the Xfinity car is one of my better, if not best, so that gives me at least a little bit of confidence. But yeah, I don't know, everything's pretty new still.
All right, hey, fair enough. And I tell you what, before we let you go celebrate with the team tonight, we're gonna open up the floor to you to give any shout outs, any hays and highs to people you might have watching, anything of the sort.
I want to shout out my paint scheme designer. Last time I had an interview for a league, I forgot to shout him out, so I told him next time I got an interview, I'd shout him out. So yeah, thank you, Mr. Caden Perkins.
All right, there we go. Heck yeah, congratulations tonight on the P3. And with that, I do believe Tom has caught up with our runner-up finisher.
That I have caught up with the driver, the number 42 out here tonight. Mark, oh so close. Tom and Arie up in the booth. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
We are doing good. I tell you what, I don't know about Arie, but I am out of breath from that last lap down here. We're watching the replay here real quick on the broadcast network, and going down into turn number 3, you gave a little bit of a shot to the 16, then you saw the 25 to your outside. Kind of bring us through your thought process through those final sets of corners out here this evening.
Well, after that wreck, a few laps before the finish, I was rear-ended, which caused me to hit the wall, and I had right front wheel damage. My wheel was clocked probably at like 3 o'clock. So, I mean, I had mixed feelings about how the car was going to run. That's why I kept asking. I don't know if you can hear me, but I kept asking people that were behind me how the damage was looking to the rear ends. I know when these things get spoiler damage, it's hard to keep it straight into turns. But once we started, it was feeling really good. I mean, it was everybody's game there. You know, it sucks for the 16 that he got pushed out. When he got pushed out, I let off to let him come back in, and he by that time he was just so tight, so I kept it to the inside, and me and Cody were going for it. If you guys were broadcasting, you know, a few seasons ago, you know that it's still a win for me. This is big for me because
Yeah,
I've only been racing for 2 seasons. Like I literally started iRacing just two seasons ago, so this is big for me.
yeah, it's funny you say that, Mark, because I was taking a look at your previous season standings. Didn't have any top threes, no top fives, no top tens last season. So you come out here tonight in a non-points paying race for anybody but the race winner. You come home with the second place finish, and that's got to give you a pretty good shot in the arm, considering we're here at EchoPark Speedway for the next 2 weeks.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was very good. I mean, I'll just take all what this race gave me and apply it to the next race coming up.
Yeah, we got the duels next Monday night, and then 150 laps on January 12th in 2 weeks' time here on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network. Mark, we're going to be here calling the action from now until the end of the season at the end of May, and well, I hope we get to see that 42 up towards the front more and possibly get your first win here in the Trinity Racing League. But Mark, we're going to open up the floor for you. Anybody you want to say hello to back home, watching you come home, second place. The floor is all yours, sir.
I'd like to say hello to my family. If anybody was watching, did send a few links out to people. If anybody's watching, love you, and maybe this season will be a better one than last. So I really appreciate you guys and appreciate Josh for putting this league together. I'm honored actually to be in it. So just want to say thanks, and I hope the season goes good.
All right. Congratulations once again, Mark, on a runner-up finish out here tonight. Oh, so close to your first win. And speaking of the win, I believe Arie has caught up with not only our pole sitter, but our race winner out here tonight, the 25, Cody Reed.
That I have. Big race winner on the evening. Cody Reed went out there, sat on the pole. We talked to you in the pre-race, and now here you are after it's all said and done. And I tell you what, you provided one of my favorite calls I've ever done as a broadcaster, so I'm excited for you to go back and watch that one for the finish. But, man, just walk us through just all of it, to be honest, because we were kind of left speechless up here in the booth.
Yeah, well, I just like to say I have already watched the replay of the broadcast like 3 times at the end of the race, and it was a great call. But I have no clue how I won. After all that, I mean, I thought I was in the best position, maybe coming out of turn 4 with 2 to go, and then I was in a position where I thought there was no possible way I was going to win this. And then somehow it just ended up being that way. It was a whole lot of luck and very little skill at the end of there. But I'd just like to thank my teammates for helping me out. Justin, oh, my engine just blew up. But my teammate Justin Campbell was there early on in the race, pushing me, and that was pretty cool. And then he ended up wrecking, which kind of sucks. And then Ollie helped me throughout the race. So I'd like to thank them getting me to be in that spot. And props to Mark. That was huge. I was almost sad sad to cross the line first because I mean, obviously I wanted to win, but that would have been really awesome to see him win. But being in the car, I had really no clue. Even like I got in the wall trying to avoid Josh coming up the track in 3 and 4. It seemed like the entire field was wrecking, and I just kind of pinned it up against the wall and figure I would have maybe been lucky to get 7th or 8th out of it. So to come home with the win was pretty shocking.
Well, I tell you what, it was a fantastic run, a fantastic race. You find yourself in the right places at the right times, and that's what it takes at these drafting tracks so much at the time. I tell you what, you come out here and you put the car on pole, you put the car in victory lane in the very first competitive session of the season, And I'm going to tie this in with a little fun nugget of information that I was given, and it's that the driver Cody Reed has beef with most other drivers. So to come out here and make a statement like you did tonight has to feel pretty good. And the question for you is, how are you feeling to start out the brand new season with this much speed?
I'm pretty excited. I don't think this will carry over to most weeks. It's just kind of a drafting track thing. I'm actually kind of I was telling my teammates in the voice chat. I've never won a super speedway race in this league or the league that came previous to it. Even though I've been like in position so many times, I've had races where I'll get the pole, lead the most laps, be up front all race just to get wrecked on the last lap. So to finally come away with one is really cool, but for it to only count for 2 points is a little upsetting. So hopefully this carries over into the big boy race here in a couple weeks. But yeah, I mean, I've had beef in the past with a lot of people. There was actually some from this race because there was the one big wreck that I maybe caused. I'm not sure. I'll have to go look back at it. So sorry to everybody involved if that was my fault. I got shoved 3 wide and just kind of got stuck there. So sorry about that. So not starting things great in terms of that, but performance-wise, I was pretty happy. So hopefully this is a sign of things to come this season.
All right, that's what we like to hear. Well, I tell you what, you did give some shout-outs already, but just in case you missed anyone, any final thank you, shout-outs, hays, and highs to people you might have watching before we let you go celebrate?
Yeah, shout out again to my teammates. They did great. Shout out to my dad. He was in the chat cheering me on all race. Shout out to there was quite a few people actually. I know Larry Hankins was in the chat. Larry Arts Productions. Go check him out on YouTube. The sponsor of the series. I think I saw maybe Martin Morales. I think I saw in there. I'm not sure. But thanks to everybody in the chat. Even if you were rooting against me, thanks for tuning in. Thanks to you guys. From what I could tell, just by going back, watching that final call, you guys did great. So I'll be very excited to watch the rest of the broadcast right after this. So thank you to you guys. And I think that's about it.
Alrighty, well, thank you as well, Cody Reed. We're going to send you down to celebrate with the team. That is our race winner on the evening, the first event of the season. And Tom, I tell you what, does it get more exciting than that?
I don't think it possibly can, but I tell you what, Arie, we got 2 more weeks of EchoPark Speedway to prove us wrong as these drivers in the Trinity Racing League make their way out of tonight's event. And they're going to be headed back out here, so I think they're saying it like a Super 8 or something over the next 2 weeks. But that was a lot of fun to watch out here tonight. Cody Reed, the pole sitter, out here gets the win of the preseason race and gets those very important bonus points out here tonight. Cody Reed's going to take home the win out here tonight in front of second-place finisher Mark Libertone in second place in that 42. Graham Walker is going to come home in third. That's the third driver that we spoke to in the post race. The top 5 is rounded out by Nolan Hicks and Mike Miller as they run. Chris Stitz ran up front for the majority of the night and was in the wrong lane at the wrong time. Comes home 6th place. Chris Stamper is going to come home 7th, followed by Joshua Sawyer, Thomas Walter, and Joshua Kanata in the top 10.
Just outside of the top 10, it's going to be Ollie Fonseca ahead of Sam Dyer in P12. Ben Kinney in 13th. Clint Cox finishes in 14th. Ryan Kelly comes home in 15th. We've got Josh Stovall in 16th, followed by Noah Steele in 17th. The 18th position goes to Samuel Garcia in the 50 car. 19th is Justin Campbell, and rounding out the top 20, it's Stephen Clapp.
Rounding out our field of 24 competitors out here tonight, 21st belongs to Malik Kuntz. In that 77, Justin Smith gets involved in an earlier incident, comes home in 22nd. Dakota Moniz and Tyler Horn rounded out our field of 24 drivers out here tonight for the preseason race, the Clash at EchoPark.
Alrighty, we're not going anywhere in terms of location. We'll be here again next week for the EchoPark Duels, setting ourselves up for the big event to get us going and kicked off here for this season in the Trinity Racing League. To all of you guys out there watching, whether you're returning viewers of ours or watching us for the first time, don't forget to hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Make sure you get notified whenever we go live. We'll be covering the Trinity Racing League every Monday evening for this season, and we're excited to broadcast all the excitement